The superstars of Fan Control Football Season 2.0 are not only the who's who of celebrity team owners and influencers, not the 21 million live views of our Emmy-nominated broadcast. Across Twitch, DAZN, Fubo, NBCLX, Peacock. Or our highlights that scored over 100 million views. And we can't forget best-in-class sponsors. But the biggest star of Season 2 is our play-calling app that allow fans to control the action on the field. Fans pick a team, pick a play, 4 run plays, 4 pass plays to choose from. The play with the most votes is called in real time.
We got it.
This is where video games and live action come to life. And now, Fan Control Sports and Entertainment brings you Fan Controlled Hoops, where fans call the shots. Coming 2023, the future of sports is here, and it's Fan Control. Power to the fans.
Are you ready for it?
This is FCTV, fan-controlled television. Programs created and produced for the fans, by the fans of fan-controlled sports and entertainment. As always, power to the fans. And now, it's time for the show.
Don't cause a ruckus. We talking that talk and spitting them facts. We setting them traps and cracking them bags. We got all the news. We know all the stories. We start from the bottom, rise up to the glory. We say what your local reporters can't say. We break down the X's and O's on the play. It's AJ, King, Con, and Jose. Ruckus. We call it right on the first take and they love us. Yeah, we the best when it comes to sports debate. Find the podcast and let it play. If we get you in your feelings, that's okay. AJ and Jose send you on your way like, bruh, don't cause a ruckus. We just call it how we see it, big bro. And that we will always...
What's up, Internet? Welcome to Don't Cause a Ruckus, the sports debate show that tries not to take itself too seriously. I'm your host, Jose Ruckus, and joining me is not my good friend and arch rival, AJ Khahs. No, he's at an AEW show tonight. Couldn't make it. So instead, we got Makenna May. Mac, what's going on?
It's me. Hi.
Thanks for coming on the show. I needed a guest. Of course, you and I work on many projects together, so I figured, yeah, why not have Mac here?
Yes, I'm very, very excited. Sports time.
It's sports time. If you didn't know, Don't Cause a Ruckus goes live on twitch.tv/fancontrolledsports every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Then it goes up on YouTube and podcast services the next day. Just check the fan-controlled feed. We got a whole bunch of stuff. There's sports going on right now that we're probably going to end up talking about. There was sports going on last night. There's all kinds of history being made in sports. Entertainment news, there's big news. This is a huge week. AJ picked a bad week to take off, I'll tell you what.
He did. The sports are happening. Almost all of them.
Almost all of them. That's very true. Freddie Arrow, the ruckus will be maxed out tonight. Yes, it is. This is maximum ruckus right here.
Yes. It's happening.
Okay, well, I think the place I want to start, McKenna, is last night, the first of the NBA play-in games went down. We had the Hawks versus the Heat. We had the Lakers versus the Timberwolves. They were interesting games. That's how I'll start it off. They were very, very interesting. But we're just gonna do a full breakdown of the games, talk about them, and then we're gonna have our big takeaways. Each of us has a big takeaway for these. Mm-hmm. The first game was the Atlanta Hawks versus the Miami Heat. And it started off the trend of last night, McKenna. Bad basketball. This is bad basketball happening in the play-in tournaments right now.
Uh-oh.
The Heat looked the worst that they have all year. Kevin Love, who was one of the big acquisitions that the Miami made at the deadline, he played about 4 minutes in the game. And then they had to check him out because he can't play defense anymore.
It's not good.
Trae Young, star of the Hawks, normally a dude who struggles playing against the Heat because they're very good defensively, had absolutely no trouble last night. They absolutely dominated them. Jimmy Butler, star of the Miami Heat, didn't show up at all. Looked terrible out there. So they're moving on, and they take the 7th seed now. So they're going to have to go up against the Atlanta Hawks. Are going to be facing off against the Boston Celtics. I don't think that they've got a chance. This is going to be a theme that we'll talk about in a little bit, but I really don't think that coming out of the play-in tournament, they're going to have a chance against the Boston Celtics. Mac, Atlanta Hawks, Miami Heat. Do you have a takeaway from this game at all?
Kevin Love, I almost broke his hand. So, maybe this is just a residual from that.
You almost broke Kevin Love's hand?
Yeah, he was, when I was shadowing for the Sixers, we were walking through a hallway and he was stretching there. And he had his hand right where I was supposed to put my foot. I didn't know who it was at the time, and then he started that night, and I realized, that's the man's hand I almost broke.
I've never heard that. You almost stepped on Kevin Love's hand?
Yeah. I could, see the ESPN notification now. Intern breaks Kevin Love's hand out for the rest of the season. So
that probably would have ended your production career.
Oh, absolutely.
In sports, if you broke a player's hand right before a game.
Yeah, it didn't go, it would not have gone very, very well.
No,
not
at all.
I'm still here.
My big takeaway from this is gonna be Trae Young is really, really good when the pressure's on and in the playoffs when it really matters. That dude's a dude who can play. Typically that's what Jimmy Butler does, but this time it was Trae Young. So that's my playoff Trae. It's a real thing. I sort of because he went off a couple years ago. Beat the New York Knicks, did the whole shush thing. Upset your Philadelphia 76ers big time in the playoffs and stuff. I think playoff Trae Young, I think he steps it up during the playoffs, which is a really good quality to have in a player. The next games that we had was the Los Angeles Lakers versus the Minnesota Timberwolves. This was one of the worst basketball games with stakes I've ever watched. Both teams were really, really bad. It got to the second half, and the Timberwolves essentially just stopped playing basketball. They started getting a lot of fouls. The Lakers took over. There was something like a 23-3 free throw difference between the two teams. Hilariously, LeBron James, barely any time left on the clock, just a couple seconds, drives to the basket, kicks it out. They make a 3-point, up 3 points. Barely any time left on the clock. A second, I think 1.7 seconds is left on the clock. Timberwolves get the ball, and Anthony Davis fouls a guy, taking a really bad shot at 0.1 seconds left in the game.
Oh
Gets 3 free throws, sinks all 3 of them, of course. And it went to overtime where, again, the Timberwolves just didn't play basketball in overtime. It was really, really... This is terrible basketball. I've been a big fan of the play-in tournament. Mm-hmm. It's been around for a couple of years now. I think it's fun. I think it's a lot of drama. These 2 games that we saw last night are a pretty good argument that we don't need the play-in tournament because all these teams suck. Which leads me...
I'm going to be honest with you, didn't know the play-in tournament was a thing until today.
Oh my, you watched the play-in tournament with me.
Yeah, I know.
2 years ago, we watched Lakers versus Golden State Warriors in the play-in tournament.
I know we did. I don't think I realized what was happening. I have no, idea of how, regular season ending and, postseason beginning for any of the sports. So I just assumed it was regular season.
Well, the play-in tournament, they pretend that it's not the playoffs, right? Mm-hmm. They pretend that they're fighting to get into playoffs, but it's still just playoffs. They just made the playoffs longer. So it creates this weird. It's not the regular season, but it's not the playoffs. It's this thing that happens in between.
It's like the time between when a new president is elected and he's inaugurated.
Yes. This is the lame duck NBA part of the season. My big takeaway for this, as the Los Angeles Lakers, they're going to go on to face the 2 seed Memphis Grizzlies. My big takeaway from this is that they don't have a chance against the Grizzlies. I don't think they do at all. I just saw a stat today. No team. So this is the third year I think that the play-in tournament's been around. So far, not a single play-in team has won a playoff series.
Wow.
Yeah, these we don't gotta do the play-ins. The play-ins, it's just making the end of the season regular season basketball games. Mm-hmm. It's just increasing the ratings for it. That's all it do. These teams don't have a chance at these games. I don't like it. I need to see some upsets before I start enjoying the play-in tournament, because the fact that we're here, there's now been it's got to be 8 teams have come out of the play-in tournament now.
Oh, wow.
And not a single one of them has won a series. That's bad.
Oh. Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
Not good odds.
Mac, do you have a takeaway from Lakers versus Timberwolves?
Well, the Lakers, you can't beat a bear, so bears will make
That's
you
true.
up.
It's hard to defeat a bear.
Yeah, especially like grizzly bear.
That's like the worst kind of bear.
That's the worst kind. You're not making it out of there. I don't know what a Laker is. It's not a bear.
It's a person who lives on a lake, I assume.
Oh, it's a person. Okay, even worse. People can't beat bears.
That's a fair assessment. I don't know if I agree with it, but it's a fair assessment. A bear is very hard to beat. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they can't beat it, but it's very, very difficult. Mm-hmm. Polar bear, no doubt. You think a polar bear is worse than a grizzly bear? Because I think it's got to. I think the grizzly bear is like the toughest kind of bear.
It depends what climate. Are we in ice, like where it's snowy out? Polar bears.
Because they're camouflage. Right? You might not even see it coming.
Exactly. Grizzly bear on snow, though, you'll see it coming. Mm-hmm. We switch that polar bear in the woods, you'll see that.
It's an excellent
bear
point.
In the woods. It just depends where we are.
So we got the next round of playing games. One's currently going on right now as the Toronto Raptors are beating the brakes off of the Chicago Bulls right now. Mm-hmm. This is a classic mid-off. Both of these teams super mid. It doesn't matter. The results of the game that's being played right now do not matter, because one of these teams is going to have to go play against the Milwaukee Bucks, and neither of them stands a chance beating the Milwaukee Bucks. Right. Giannis Antetokounmpo would have to have his knees explode moments before stepping onto the court for either of these teams to have a chance at beating him. So it really doesn't matter. This is a totally pointless game that's going to lead to a pointless series. Yeah. It sucks. But later on tonight, starting about halfway through this show, there's going to be the Pelicans versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. This one's kind of maybe a little bit interesting. The Pelicans are unfortunately, like, Zion Williamson still isn't playing. He's in and out constantly. And I just don't care about the Pelicans if Zion Williamson isn't. Like, I don't care about CJ McCollum. I watched him play in Portland for several years. I think he's totally fine. Jason Wright, Chet McKenna would have to step on all the players' hands in order for the Milwaukee Bucks to lose. Absolutely true.
Send me up. I don't work there. They can't.
They can't fire you for stepping on people's hands in Milwaukee.
No, that's there's no laws there saying that I can't. So.
What I will say is interesting, though, because this is on the flip side of last time, right? This is the 9-10 game that's going to be happening later, Pelicans versus OKC. They have way more of a chance against the Nuggets than the Raptors are going to have against the Bucks. Because the Nuggets still haven't gotten it done in the playoffs. They're just a team that's, like, really, really good in the regular season. They have a bunch of good players, but just, like, are never really competitors in the playoffs. Like, I don't think they've even made it to a Western Conference Finals. It's great. And we're talking about a dude who's been a 2-time MVP. Has a chance to be a 3-time MVP this year. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they don't show up in the playoffs. So like having a 9th, 10th seed upset them, it's very unlikely, but not nearly as unlikely. We would only need you to step on like 1 or 2 bench players' hands like that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good.
Any interest in the NBA playoffs, Makenna? I know that you're like doing some stuff around the Philadelphia 76ers right now, and they're a playoff team. So like, are you interested in the NBA playoffs?
It'd be nice if we won, just because of the Sixers. Also, I think that my sister's emotions rely on how well the Suns do.
Okay.
So that, because when they lost a couple years ago,
yep,
it was not good.
Really?
Emotions were high. It was
well, now good. I mean they have Kevin Durant. Like honestly, like they're the team. They like right now. I kind of put them up like they can beat anybody. Like that roster is really, really good, especially having like they were a good roster that added Kevin Durant, who's one of like the best players. As long as he stays healthy, like they definitely could do it. Do you think it would be better for your sister's emotions to have them make it to the finals and lose, or lose before getting to the finals?
Oh, lose before they get to the finals. I haven't experienced that, but it's going to be better than getting to the finals.
Well, your sister is a Cowboys fan, and they always lose in the playoffs. Oh,
yeah.
So how is that
she's
bad?
Kind of prepared for it.
Yeah.
I suppose. She's had however long she's had many years to prep for it. So
we're just carving out a little bit of time in the show to dunk on your sister.
I'm gonna send this to her later and be like, you should have. Can't defend yourself, bud. Like, Cowboys. How can you?
Terrible team.
Yeah.
Maybe my like least favorite team of all time, honestly.
It was a triple stumper on Jeopardy last night. What team did Jerry Jones own? That just tells you right there. I knew it.
That's an easy question.
I know, that's what I was thinking.
Jeopardy nerds, come on.
They don't know sports.
Well, let's talk about sports that Mac really knows, because Mac, like honestly, you're like probably the most educated soccer person that I know.
Oh.
So I just want like give me, because we're getting to the end of like the Premier League season, right? That's about to finish up, and we just got to the start of the MLS season.
Yes.
So just give me a wrap up. Let me know what's going on in the world of soccer right now, because I only like casually pay attention.
Let me tell you what's going down. Everything's going down. So Arsenal currently at the top. They have, I believe, a 6-point lead over Man City in the table. 6. Yes, I was correct. 6-point lead. So with like a month left, unless Arsenal messes up somehow, which I don't, they've been playing this well so far. I don't see them messing up.
Famous for messing things up, though.
That is very true. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did mess it up, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they actually...
You're not going to be surprised either way.
Oh, no, yeah, exactly. Absolutely not. Like, Man City, let me tell you what, Man City, Erling Haaland is killing it, which, I mean, you could have told me that back in August, and I wouldn't be surprised about that at all. He just, yesterday, during the Champions League game, he scored his 45th goal of the season. He now holds the record for the most goals by a Premier League player in a single season. No, I lied to you. That's not correct. That is not correct. I don't know what I did these notes during lunch. I was eating a red velvet roll thing. I don't really remember. Clive Allen holds the record. He has scored 49 goals in all competitions when he played for Tottenham in 1986, 1987. This is a 36-year record, and Haaland's probably going to break it. He's already on 45, and there's still...
So he's only got to score 4 more goals.
He's only got to score across any competition. There's still Champions League. They destroyed Bayern Munich yesterday. It was still the first game in the aggregate. And he still has however many games left in the Premier League. And he's averaging...
He scores a lot.
He scores a lot. He's great to have on your fantasy Premier League team. Make him captain, you'll get the points. We also had, I don't know what this means. Record for Premier League player in single season. But then I completely go against what I just said. Anyway, I digress. Tottenham played. I usually don't like talking about Tottenham, but I really like one of their players, Sonny. He scored his 100th Premier League goal in their game against Brighton, and he's the first Asian player to score 100 goals in the Premier League. So, woo!
Very cool.
I really like him. Chelsea, my team, stinks right now.
Yeah, they've got substitute coach Frank Lampard going right now, right? Who is not looking
He already
good.
got fired once. And yet they're like, we'll bring you back for a month. They lost to the Wolves on Saturday. Today we just lost in the first game in the aggregate, 2-0 to Real Madrid. Maybe we'll come back. If we come back next week and win, my coworker said he's going to give me a cake. So I hope we come back and
exciting.
win. Just for my cake. If not, I don't know.
If not, Frank Lampard owes you a cake.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. He owes me a cake. Send a cake to Philadelphia, Frank. His name's Frank. That's awesome. Frank, come on. The MLS Union's not doing too hot either.
Yeah, I was really shocked to see this. I haven't been paying attention to MLS at all, so I just pulled up let's take a look at what's going on the table. I was like, wow, Philly Union, just from being the best team last year all the way up until they lost in the championship, they're bottom half of the table right now.
Yeah, we're currently number 10 in the Eastern Conference. We lost this number 1 Cincinnati on Saturday, 1-0, but still a loss. I mean, the season is still young, but it's not starting off strong. And Philadelphia just needs something in general, and this is not the something that we want or what we need. We need happiness.
Philadelphia's been losing a lot lately.
Yeah, let me tell you
they've been winning a lot, but then losing right at the end.
Which is heartbreaking. Going back to your asking, would you rather my sister be losing in the playoffs or losing the finals? Losing in the finals is terrible. And we have done it 3 times now since November.
Yeah, it's rare that you see a city go to so many finals in sports and lose them all. Normally when this happens, it's you think about Tampa Bay, right, where they had the Buccaneers and the Lightning both make it to the finals, both win. Or Boston with the Bruins and the Patriots. They both got there, they both win. I think the Steelers and the Penguins did it a couple times too. I can't remember ever seeing a city go, okay, we're gonna go to the NBA finals. Well, they went to the Eastern Conference finals. They lost. Then they, you get a World Series, you'll lose. Go to the Super Bowl, you'll lose. They're losing every single sport.
It's awful. And we lost in the World Series and the MLS finals on the same day, hours apart. Talk about soul crushing. I felt the city was not the city of brotherly love that night. It was a city of tears. We're not, and the Phillies, they're not doing too hot right now. They're 4-8. Union's number 10 in Eastern Conference.
I do really think the Phillies are going to bounce back, though. I think the Phillies are a very, very good baseball team. And baseball's weird. Starting off super hot isn't necessarily a conducive to winning a World Series. So I still got belief in the Phillies.
Good. We need hope. And then the Flyers didn't even make it to the playoffs for the Stanley Cup. We're done tomorrow. So we were, yeah.
It's tough.
It's tough. Let me tell you what. And Philadelphia is not a city to be in when you're losing.
No, it's really
or
not.
winning for that matter, but particularly losing. Our poles are greased outside no matter what.
That's really great.
It's terrible. But you know what? The U.S. women's team won last night in a friendly, so
Yeah, they're
that.
they beat Ireland last week. They're looking pretty good. Lost a key player, unfortunately, like right before the World Cup, but
yeah,
still a lot of reasons
it's
to think that they're going to be really good.
Yeah, it's we got a few more months until World Cup, but yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm excited. Woo!
Well, we talk about the Phillies not starting off the MLB season super hot, but one team is starting the season off super hot. And just so you know, this graphic here, it's already out of date. It's already wrong, and I believe it's about to continue. Yeah. So since I made this yesterday afternoon, the Rays are now 12-0.
What?
Yes, the Rays just won another game, like right now.
Oh
They won last night, and then they won right now. So the Rays are now 12-0. So ignore the graphic, but it's still one of the best starts in MLB history. Let's talk about it. So at the time when I made this graphic, the Rays had just tied. They were the first team since like 1987 to start off the season 10-0. Now they're 12-0. The record for the best start by an MLB team is 13-0, which is a tie between the 87 Brewers and the 82 Braves. So we're just one win away from them tying the all-time record for the longest win streak to start off an MLB season. Freddie Airmail, of course. Freddie, stats guy, always has the best stats. Run differential of plus 65.
Whoa.
The next best is the New York Yankees with a plus 28 run differential.
Wow.
So they've scored 65 more runs than they've given up. They are...
What?
They're really, really great because like their pitching is really, really good. Their hitting has been great right now. They are like... One thing that was really interesting about the team, because they went to, the World Series just a couple of years ago, and watching them now, they feel like a different team because they were very much a small ball team that was built around, creating runs very craftily, hitting a lot of doubles, singles, and stuff like that, and building runs. They're hitting a lot of home runs now. So they're getting dudes on base and then clearing them off pretty great. They're a really, really good team. But Freddie Airmail points out, the 13-0 teams, both of them didn't win the World Series. Like I said, baseball is this is what's tough about baseball is that it's a extremely long season. We're talking about almost 200 games in a season. Mm-hmm. So starting off a season super hot, like by the time you're getting into playoff mode, that was so long ago it doesn't even matter. A lot of teams actually, it's really more about who gets hot at the right time at the end of the season, who starts playing really good baseball towards the end of the season. But the Rays, we already knew that they were good, and now they seem like they're really, really good. There's no way that they're just going to carry off, be this good all season, but like, wow. 12-0 to start a season. That's just incredible. It's so hard to win baseball games.
That kind of hurts my head, like that baseball. You got to hit a lot of dingers for that.
Got to hit some dingers.
Yeah. Have they done the Grand Slam?
This
I don't know
probably
how
had a
common
Grand Slam at
I
some
don't know
point.
how common Grand Slams are. I just know that that's a Denny's breakfast, and it also happens in baseball.
Yeah, Grand Slams aren't like we've had a couple Grand Slams already this year. I don't think that the Rays have had one. I haven't seen it come up. Normally, I'll tell you what, I know when a Grand Slam happens because I really only watch Giants baseball games. I'll tell you that much right now. Everything else, I'm watching highlights. Baseball's got great highlights. So I see a Grand Slam when it comes on the Twitter timeline. That's how I know that a team has hit the Grand Slam. And I haven't seen the Rays do it yet. Jason points out the shorter games. Shorter games are really changing a lot in baseball right now. I love it. I love how short the games are now. I don't have to sit and watch a baseball game for 4 hours anymore. I'm really excited to go to a stadium and not have to be there for 3.5 hours. Yeah.
Do you think that the pitching clock in the shorter games are the reason why the Rays are doing so well, or is it just because they're that good?
I wouldn't be surprised if it had something to do with it. I've seen a lot of pitchers, Max Scherzer especially, not a Rays player, but he's on the Mets. But just as an example, he's a dude who's really trying to max out the strategy of the pitch clock, either by pitching extremely fast to batters before they can get ready, or making them sit in the batter's box until the very last second to throw a pitch. Like, pitchers are really gaming the system here, and I think a lot of the batters haven't quite adjusted to the pitch clock yet. I think the pitchers made the adjustment way before the batters have. So it might be part of it. Their pitching has been really, really good. Like we're talking about, this is like an insane run differential. So that might be a big part of what's going on here. Yeah, and as pointed out, yeah, they're going to have to go face the Blue Jays pretty soon. I picked the Blue Jays to win this division. Right now, that's looking like not a great pick. I still think the Blue Jays are the better baseball team, though. I think that they're really, really good. So yeah, that's a good upset alert for Eddie. But yeah, it's just, I'm happy baseball's back, McKenna. Previous years, if we started off the season and the Giants were doing like what they do now, where it's like, we're like a 500 team. We show up, we have a terrible game, and then we have a great game, and then we have a terrible game, and we have a great game. I would already be done with baseball. I'd be like, I'm going to watch Giants games. I'm not really going to care. But with the pitch clock, a bunch of changes, baseball's way more fun now, and I'm super into baseball. Batting averages are up. Batting averages are way up right now.
Whoa!
The entire sport for like a couple years now has been like, just try to hit home runs. Just swing as hard as you can, strike out a million times, and if you get one home run in that, you're doing good. Dudes are getting on base. I love it. Baseball's back.
Baseball's back. All right.
Baseball's back. There's another team right now, McKenna, who just had a historic season.
Yes.
The Boston Bruins had what may be the best hockey season of all time. So they set the record for most single season wins with, what was it, 100? They have 133 points. So they also have the most points ever scored in an NHL season.
Do you know
crazy.
which game it was against when it broke the record?
Was it against the Flyers?
It was against the Flyers on Sunday at the Wells
Philadelphia.
Fargo Center.
Oof, feels bad to be in Philadelphia right now.
It's not great.
But this team is just like, they've been like quietly, I mean, because like, let's be honest, hockey's like the 4th, 5th most popular sport, so they're not getting a whole bunch of shine on them. This kind of makes me want to pay attention to the NHL playoffs, though. Because like, how often do a team set the record for the most points ever scored in a season? That's pretty crazy.
I'm curious to see what will happen. I don't even know who's all in the playoffs. I know it's not the Flyers. And I guess the
playoff brackets. The playoff bracket is not finished yet. I think there's still a couple games that need to be played and put out tiebreakers so we can figure it out. I think what's likely going to happen is that the Florida Panthers are going to have to face the Bruins, and the Panthers have been pretty good. They were the team. They were the best regular season team last year, and they lost in the first round of the playoffs, I believe. Which is actually something that happens quite often in hockey. Like, being the best team in the season is actually kind of like a scary position to be in, especially when you score a lot, because scoring goes way down in the playoffs. So, look, I'm going to put the Bruins on upset alert in the playoffs. If you're doing your betting, anything like that, I'm just going to tell you, I would bet against the Bruins in these series, because I bet a lot of the money's going to come in on betting on the winningest team of all time. I bet you're going to have some very nice point spreads, some very favorable odds. And it's difficult because the playoff hockey is so much different than regular season hockey, and it's way harder to score. So I'm just going to tell you, upset alert.
You got to get that big cup.
It's all about getting the big cup. Big cup, drink a Sprite out of it,
Exactly. That's all that matters.
Yeah. That really is all that matters.
It really is. Didn't they drop it one year? Like a couple years ago?
Probably. It seems heavy.
It does seem heavy. And plus, like, you're skating on ice. Like, you're already trying to balance your body weight, let alone a big old cup.
I would definitely drop the Stanley Cup if somebody handed it to me.
Oh yeah, I go straight
It
down.
seems just big and cumbersome and heavy, and yeah, I would absolutely drop it.
I'm going to Google how heavy is the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, give me that kind of
It's-
information. That's the stuff I need to know about.
34.5 pounds.
Really?
Yeah.
But it's so big. It looks like it's at least 70 pounds.
Oh
What's
yeah.
it made out of? Tinfoil?
What? Yeah, let me see. The Stanley Cup material. Let's see. Silver and nickel alloy.
It's kind of sus. Kind of sus for it to be so light.
Yeah. Let us touch the Stanley Cup and see for ourselves. We need
The Stanley Cup is like the most accessible of any of this major sport because every single player like gets it for a day and they just get to do whatever they want with it. And it seems like the only thing the players ever want to do with it is just show up and drink out of it with a bunch of people.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's definitely we can hold the Stanley Cup probably.
Okay.
That seems doable.
That seems doable.
Yeah, well, let's get on that. Patrick Dees, get us in the same room as the Stanley Cup.
Can we do like a trophy tour and like hold all the different trophies and like compare them?
That would actually be a really good idea because then we could rank the trophies, talking about what it's like to lift it up, what's the usability. Because like Lombardi Trophy looks really cool. You can't drink a Sprite out of it.
No, you can't. And I don't know if anyone has ever held all of the. I'm sure there's someone, but like documented holding all the trophies and giving their thoughts in a
Freddie
format.
Airmail asked a great question. If you were one of the people who got to take the Stanley Cup for a day, what would you do with it?
First, I would drink a Sprite out of it, and then I would probably just like tote it around, maybe put it in the car, drive it around, show them the sights of Harrisburg, show Stanley. I'm going to call him Stan.
Stanley. Yeah, your man Stan.
My man Stan, exactly. Show him the sights of Harrisburg. Maybe go to Hershey Park, do a few roller coasters with Stan. I'd probably have to
that's cool.
hold him.
Yeah.
I don't know if the lap belt's... He doesn't have hands to hold
That's
on.
true.
But, you know, just
I'll tell you the
do a little adventure.
First thing I would do if I got the Stanley Cup for a day. You ever been to like a you go to like a Starbucks or a Dunkin' or whatever, and people like they'll bring their own cup and be like, just make it in my to-go cup. I would show up into the Starbucks and be like, can you make the coffee in my to-go cup, being the Stanley Cup? And then I would drink my coffee out of the Stanley Cup.
Hear me out. 7-Eleven.
Fill it up with a Slurpee.
Fill it up with a Slurpee.
This is what I'm talking about. The NHL players are not using the Stanley Cup to its full capabilities.
Exactly. Let us play hockey. Let us hold the Stanley Cup.
Go to 7-Eleven and fill up the Stanley Cup with a cherry Slurpee. That's what you got to do.
It's the only thing you can do. We don't
All
make
right,
the rules.
I got another topic for you. Okay, so NFL Sunday Ticket has changed providers. It used to be for a decade. It was a DirecTV exclusive product. If you wanted the NFL Sunday Ticket, if you wanted to watch all out-of-market games anytime, you had to have DirecTV. That's changed. It's now on YouTube TV.
Oh.
And the prices are kind of nuts.
Oh, yeah?
You see this? Baseline package. If you have YouTube TV, you want to get NFL Sunday Ticket, it's going to cost you $349. It's a lot of money.
What was the first number you said? Was that a 3?
$349. If you don't have YouTube TV, you don't want to subscribe to YouTube TV, you want an a la carte, it's going to cost you $449.
What?
Mac, you and I were talking when the Apple deal was announced for the MLS
Yeah.
package, and we were surprised it was $100 for that.
Right.
Which it seemed ridiculous for MLS. No way I was going to pay it. In the past, you could the DirecTV package was expensive, but through signing up for an extension, anything like that, usually if you were really like willing to make some phone calls and stuff, Sunday Ticket would cost you about like $100, maybe $200 for a season. I'm talking now $450. It's ridiculous.
What?
It's so much.
Isn't that how much, like, the PlayStation or the Xbox costs?
Yeah, you could go buy a brand new PlayStation for 1 year of NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube. That's ridiculous.
Oh.
I was really like torn. Like I still have not paid for the MLS Pass because I just don't think I'm going to use it that much.
Right.
I watch every football game and $450. No, thank you.
Do you get any extra goodies? Like, do they let you hold the Super Bowl trophy at the end or something?
The biggest plus that you get from this is that I can't remember what the previous sports package. I believe was the basketball tournament. YouTube introduced their custom split screen, so you could put like 3 or 4 games up on the screen. And you could choose whichever ones you wanted to have up there. You'll have that with the Sunday Ticket, which DirecTV kind of had that already. But don't pay attention to that. It was harder to use, but they kind of had it. And then I believe this doesn't include the Red Zone. I think it's still another $50 if you want Red Zone. Which Red Zone is a necessary thing to have for football.
I don't get it. What?
It's insane. It's ridiculous. I don't see, especially with a change from it being part of your cable subscription to being now a thing you have to sign up on YouTube. I can't imagine the subscription numbers are going to be super good for this.
Yeah. I would be very curious to see the numbers on that. I don't. It's not gonna be good.
It seems insane, especially when you can like Red Zone is still available on other platforms, so you can just like go to Hulu and pay $50 to have Red Zone there.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't do the statistics regularly, but if I had to assume, those numbers are going to go up for the other Red Zone.
I'm unsure because right now Hulu's like they're really trying to push things on trying to get people to subscribe to them for sports. If you remember the commercials, Hulu has live sports. You remember this?
Oh yes,
all over
I
the
do remember
place.
this.
They really want to have that, and so I think those numbers are going to be like continue to be accessible because they really want people to subscribe to that package. Which is by the way was why DirecTV wasn't charging very much. DirecTV was reported that they were regularly taking millions of dollars in losses on Sunday Ticket every single year because they were the only people who had Sunday Ticket. So it was a continual. You knew people were going to re-up their DirecTV subscriptions every year because it was the only place to have Sunday Ticket. It was more of a draw to use the service than it was making money off the actual Sunday Ticket. YouTube is taking a completely different path with this, where they're trying to make all the money off of this Sunday Ticket. I don't think it's going to work out particularly well for them. It seems like just a ridiculous price.
I can't comprehend just why they think that it's just so much money.
It's so much money. I'm not interested. Like
Oh yeah.
I can go a year without Sunday. I still have Red Zone. I'll just watch Red Zone.
I can see like the groups going in on just splitting it in like each. I don't know how that
I could see that
works, but like just a bunch of people going in on one thing, which would not help their numbers, but would help other people because.
Well, we're talking about streaming services right now, Mac. There's another big thing that's got announced for a streaming service.
Yes.
Today, officially, HBO Max. They just got bought by Discovery Plus. They're doing all this big changes and stuff. And part of all these big changes that they've announced, there's going to be a Harry Potter reboot, Mac, done for TV. As a TV show. This is really interesting for a couple reasons. And I'm just going to say this off the bat. Mac, what I need you to do right now, while we're talking, we're going to discuss this story. Because you're one of the biggest Harry Potter fans I've ever met in my life. And I've met some people who I thought were huge Harry Potter fans. You've completely blown them out of the water. So while we're talking about this whole thing, I need you to start working on, I want your top 5 things from the books that they didn't do in the movies that they need to do in the TV show. I need you to start working on that for me. But I've always said I thought that Harry Potter would work so much better as a TV show than as a movie. And me and one of my friends who was a big Harry Potter fan, we would talk like, eventually Harry Potter is going to get rebooted, and when they do, I hope that it's a more faithful adaptation of the books, because so much stuff got left out of the books, and some of the movies aren't as good as some of the others. You and I have like reviewed all the movies in the series, and especially with how terrible the Fantastic Beasts movies were. They really do, like, if they're going to keep Harry Potter going as a property, they're going to have to reboot Harry Potter. I think it's the only thing that will get people super excited about Harry Potter again. Yeah, I mean, so are you excited for a Harry Potter TV show, Mac?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I am. I will always be excited for anything Harry Potter related. Cursed Child, I was super pumped for. Didn't love it, but it was still, just the excitement around it was exciting in and of itself. If it was good, that'd be even more exciting. And we got let down with that. We kind of got let down with Fantastic Beasts. Similar to Philadelphia, we need this. We need a win.
You need a win.
We need a win, for the love of God. So I'm excited. I like that world, particularly of just Harry Potter. I've read the books 5 times all the way through. I've done hours of research. It's embarrassing how much research I've done. My confirmation name is even after a Harry Potter character. So, like, I'm excited. Woo!
Freddie asked an interesting question, if it's going to be more faithful to the books or if it's going to be different in different ways. I do think that there's going to be some changes from the books. That's just sort of the thing you do during an adaptation. But there's going to be, we're going from a 2-hour movie to now we're assuming going to be like 45 to an hour minute episodes. You're probably getting 8 to 10 episodes a season. You're going to have to fill out so much more time that you're just going to have to do all this stuff that got left out of the books.
Right. And, like, even with Chamber of Secrets is probably, I would say, the book that is the most faithful, or excuse me, the movie that's the most faithful to the book, and that's because it's the longest movie. And that still left out a bunch. It was still too long. They focused on the wrong stuff there. And that, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. But
yeah, let's talk about the stuff that they should focus on, Mac. Let's get your top 5 things the movies, top 5 things from the books that the movies didn't do that the TV show needs to do, Mac.
Yes, number 5, more Quidditch. Quidditch not only is sports and exciting in the books, but it also sets up a lot of other points and characters. Like, you learn who Cedric Diggory is and Cho Chang are in Prisoner of Azkaban before they're even introduced. And the books are introduced in the 4th in Goblet of Fire. It establishes Harry and the whole Dementor fear a bit more than in the movies did, because of, like, Malfoy was scaring him and all that stuff. And then, like, there's a whole, like, Quidditch plays a big role in Order of the Phoenix because Umbridge, like, bans them, and that's when Ron starts playing, and, like,
barely see anything of the Quidditch World Cup in the
yes,
movies.
Exactly. It's like less than a minute of a scene. You get the lineup, and then that's that, and it's annoying. And also, I just really like the original lineup of the Gryffindor team, the first 3 books. I love Oliver Wood, and just also, like, the Chasers, and you get more Friend George, and Harry's trying to figure out what Quidditch is. More Quidditch, please.
More Quidditch.
More Quidditch. Number 4, I want the in Order of the Phoenix, there is a scene during Christmas when Mr. Weasley's in the hospital, and you get the backstory on Neville's parents, who are who Bellatrix made them go.
Right. Uses one of the forbidden curses on Neville's parents, and you never see them in the movies.
Right. Neville explains it very briefly in the Room of Requirement after a DA lesson, and that was it. You don't get to meet them. You don't get to see their relationship with Neville. And it's a very touching moment in the book, and it's disappointing that's not in the movies. And it builds on Neville's character, so you gotta love Neville. Number 3, give us more holiday and summer shenanigans. It shows them that they're children still. They're 11, 12, and 13 years old. Let them go run amok in Diagon Alley. In Prisoner of Azkaban, Harry spends most of his summer by himself in the Leaky Cauldron, just going around, doing his homework in Diagon Alley, getting free ice cream, learning about the Firebolt and the Quidditch, and like he gets to spend a summer just fully immersed in Diagon Alley and learning about people who aren't associated with the school. And he's just hanging out. He's
that makes
a
sense.
child.
Yeah, that
Well,
makes
like,
that's definitely something you got to do in a TV show.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
yeah, let's take 2 episodes to hang around Diagon Alley. That'll be fun.
Right, exactly. And like
Yeah.
the holidays, they have like fun holiday times and like exchanging presents. They have really cool presents in the books. So give us that. It's adorable.
Okay, I like it.
Number 2, you got to get more characters in there. We want Peeves, more of the ghosts in general. Hokey, which will give us the whole like Crouch story background and like why Barty Crouch is a bigger character than he is in the movies. And like Bagman and Charlie Weasley. We're missing a whole Weasley sibling in the movies. We barely even get Bill or Percy. We don't even get any of Charlie. Just more characters, please. Number 1. This is the thing. I don't know if this is top of everyone else's list, but this has been on the top of my list since I watched Half-Blood Prince for the first time. We need more of the Tom Riddle background and the Horcrux background because they do a terrible job of it in Half-Blood Prince. And you go into Deathly Hallows, you kind of know what's going on, but you also kind of don't. And you don't really understand, like, Harry's connection to all of that just doesn't make any sense without a clear definition of a Horcrux. And then, like, also just Tom Riddle's, a lot of Half-Blood Prince is, like, going into Tom Riddle's memories and, like, finding why each Horcrux is specific, like Hufflepuff's cup and Slytherin's locket and Gaunt's ring. Like, we don't even see any of, like, Riddle's maternal side and like why that stuff is important.
Show him making the Horcruxes.
Yes.
Right? Like going through all those like that's interesting stuff that people want to see.
And like explaining like what he has, why it's such a big deal. Like he has to kill people in order to put this, and they don't say that in the movies at all. You're just kind of thrown in.
BC Lion. This is a fantastic list, by the way. I agree with
Thank
everything that you're saying. All these things do need. This is a very good list.
Thank you.
BC Lion wants to know, McKenna, you mentioned that your confirmation name was Harry Potter related. Mm-hmm. What was your confirmation name?
My confirmation name is Saint Hermione.
Excellent.
There's not a lot on her, so the multiple reports I had to do on her never met the page requirement, but she was cool nonetheless. So,
all right,
that is my confirmation
I love it.
name. Thank you.
Well, that's gonna wrap up our Harry Potter talk for the week, McKenna, which of course we do every single week. We do our Harry Potter segment. We got one more topic. This is going to be a quick one. I just wanted to bring it up. FCF was, of course, nominated for two Emmys.
Two.
That's right.
That's
Which I
more than
believe
one.
technically McKenna makes you nominated for an Emmy, at least one, because you were in the production doing stuff. Shout out to our technical director Jim. Jim, congrats on the Emmy nom.
Go, Jim. Wow.
But I'm hearing about the Emmy, hearing about fan control football awards, all this stuff. It got me thinking. I have an idea, McKenna. I want a fan controlled award show.
Yes.
The Fannies.
Yes. That's amazing.
I don't have all the categories done, so I mean it's fan controlled. So in the chat, let me know what categories do we need to add to the Fannies. We'll figure out how to get people to vote on these different categories. Right now I'm thinking like one category idea I have is like whitest guy in fan controlled television, Max. So I mean, you got like Josh McCouga, you got Kanata, you got Patrick Dees, you got Info Arcade, you got Stathead, you got AJ, you got me. It's a wide open category. Anybody could win it.
Yes. What would the statuette look like?
That's a good question because I think you would want it to be like a fan. But not but like, you know, like maybe like one of the like fold out fans or like
fancy.
a desk fan.
Oh, box fan.
Obviously, it needs to look like a butt. What are you talking about, Jim? What does that have to do with anything? We're talking. It's a fan controlled award show. It's the fannies.
Fannies.
The award is a fanny pack. That's great. So yeah, just tweet at me at Jose Ruckus. Let me know what categories we need to add to the fannies. We're gonna make this happen.
Yes, it's gonna be great.
All right. Well, I think that's gonna wrap it up for the Mac. Thank you so much for joining me on Don't Cause a Ruckus.
Thanks for having me. It was wonderful.
You did a fantastic job.
Thank you. I appreciate it. This is
if you didn't know, Don't Cause a Ruckus. It's the sports debate show that tries not to take itself too seriously. It goes live on twitch.tv/fancontrolsports every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern. It also goes up as a podcast on the podcast services. Just go to the Fan Controlled Sports feed where there's a bunch of other great shows like Back at Work on Mondays or the Info Arcade on Tuesdays. Check it out on the Fan Controlled Sports YouTube page. It's there. Check out the TikTok because the TikTok it's cool stuff going on the TikTok. Jose Ruckus gonna be on the TikTok a lot. I'll tell you what, because I'm awesome. Yeah, but thanks for stopping by, everybody who watched it live. Thanks for watching it live. You're listening on podcast services. Thank you very much. Don't mac a ruckus, maximum ruckus. But until next time, let's keep the ruckus to a minimum.